Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. It's a gorgeous evening and I've just finished up a full day of work on the Craic Shack. I've been basically spending the past few days getting the timbers ready, notching, sawing, chiseling, all kinds of stuff, and there's loads to share. Plus, I do a little bit of work in the garden, head to the market in town, and then I have an exciting announcement at the end of the video about what Sinead's up to at her place. So it's a really fun one. I get a lot of stuff done and I'm excited about the progress I'm making on the Craic Shack, finally at long last. So I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you again at the end. Hello everybody, I had some grand plans to head outside to work on the Craic Shack, but this is what I'm dealing with, so I'm gonna give that plan a solid nope. But that means I can head back inside, be cozy, and work on a plan for my garden and also a proper plan for the Craic Shack because I don't yet exactly know what I'm doing. So that's what I'll get up to, and I'll see you tomorrow where I'll dive into the work. So this is more like it. What a gorgeous day we have out here. A perfect day to say hello to this little dude. How's it going, Larry? And to get started working on the Craic Shack. So I have in my hand a pretty basic drawing of one section of the Craic Shack, but it's allowed me to really clear my thoughts, get things organized in my head, and figure out a way to work through this project that's a little different to what I had in mind. So I'm gonna walk you through my idea in a minute and get stuck into the work, but first I've got a whole bunch of stuff to move over to the driveway. It's just gonna be easier to get everything done over there. So I've got a few pieces to move, got some tools to get together, and then we're gonna get to work. Okay guys, the wood and the tools are all set up and ready to get started, and I definitely have some explaining to do. But before I get into the work, I think it's really stupid that I have my sawhorses being used as a table support because these are very useful and I'm about to get into some serious amount of carpentry, so I want to get them out of there. And I discovered this gigantic plastic bin in Sinead's barn, and so I feel like I can use this as a very low table base for my seedlings. So let's reorganize things a little bit and get the sawhorses out where I can use them. Okay, this is way better. This chaos remains the same, that chaos remains the same. I've set up a little section because I have 3 bikes that I'd like to repair or at least look at. I know nothing about bike repair, so that could be wishful thinking. And I basically just use this container as a table so I can reclaim my sawhorses. And before I leave the polytunnel, I wanted to point out this little tree. I got it from my friend Linda, who's always very supportive with interesting plants. It's a curry leaf tree, and it hasn't done anything for a while, really. It's looked really sad, and I think at her place she also said it hadn't grown in years, but for the first time ever, I'm seeing some signs of growth, and I basically left it in the polytunnel all winter and took pretty good care of it, so hopefully this little guy grows up to be big and strong. I can't put him in the outside world because they don't like the cold, so maybe I'll upgrade him to a larger pot and perhaps it'll continue to thrive. I hope so anyways. So I've had coffee, I've had breakfast, I've gotten changed because it's already super hot out. I've laid a few more things out and I'm ready to finally try to explain what I have in mind for today's work. So behold the very simple drawing that I did last night just to try to wrap my head around things. And the thing that I'm changing from my original plan is rather than making the full front wall and the full back wall and trying to raise that up all together, it's called a bent when you make that one big panel like that. This is going to be a different bent that's going to go up from the sides. So the 2 short sides will go up first and then I'll slot the other pieces in. I just think it's going to be a lot easier for me to work with. I will have help when I get these upright and when I get the bigger pieces in, but the more I can do by myself, the better, and I just think having a more manageable piece will make my life so much easier. So I won't put the rafter on, obviously, until the very end, because there's going to be a beam that sits here and goes all the way to the other side. But I can make these pieces. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I can make them all and attach them together. And fortunately, I've already made the front and the back, which is basically a simple notch, although I do have to do a cut here and there. And I want to make this piece here now, and I've made the supports already, And one thing that I have changed with my design is that I'm gonna have the timber frame exposed on the inside of the building, where initially I was actually just gonna cover it all up with the plaster. But I think it'll be really nice. It's a shame to do all this work with all this beautiful chunky wood and then to cover it up. It'll be covered on the outside except for the rafters, but on the inside I'd like to have it exposed. So that means that rather than just sanding it to a dubious level with the 40 grit sandpaper, I'm gonna, with the parts that are exposed, I'm gonna sand them up nicely, stain them, and so that's gonna mean that I want to choose the best sides of the wood to have on the exposed side. So that'll be a little bit of work. It'll be more sanding, which I like, and yeah, just a lot of stuff to do. So I've also squared up the Craic Shack over there. I've gotten rid of the pieces that I'm not going to be using anytime soon and used some other pieces that I'm not using just to square it all and make some refined measurements. And I've changed a couple little things. As you can see, my inside has gone down 3.5 centimeters, and so has the outside. So provided all these posts are actually 10 centimeters as they're supposed to be, which I believe they are, I should be able to do this fairly accurately. So I still have a few unknowns in my plan for the measurements. I don't know how high the posts are going to be yet, because that depends on the corner that they sit on, because the stones are of varying heights. So I'll chop the posts to be able to fit so that everything is level up top. And I also need to do a little bit more research on the roof structure. I have actually an idea of how the structure of the roof itself should work, but I'm not sure about what the pitch could be for the tiles. I'd like to use this type of tile to match with the tile on my house. And so this is out because I've actually taken a photo of it and posted it to a DIY in Portugal Facebook group, because I'm looking for the minimum possible pitch that I can have with this type of tile. And I want a low pitch, partly for wind purposes, but also just it'll give me more space at the back end, the lower I can get it. So I've put a call out to the Facebook building community, and hopefully they can come back soon with that measurement, with that pitch, so that I can make my measurements. And that's what I plan to work on right now, and hopefully, while I do this piece, some answers will roll in from the internet about the tiles, and then I can move on to cuts on the posts. And so since the inside is going to be exposed in my new plan, I want to choose the best side. I really do prefer the more orangey cut to the yellow stuff, so let's pick a side that looks nicest. This one looks pretty good. That one's got a little knot there, so let's go with this one. And then it's just a matter of measuring and cutting, so let's get into it. Upon further reflection, 161.5 seems ridiculous. Let's just go with 162 just to be even. And this piece here, it's actually going to come out a little bit longer. I haven't decided if I want to do a full lap joint or just a partial one, and I also don't know which side I want to put it on, so I can still make the piece without having to make these decisions. As you all know, I do love to procrastinate a decision, so I'm gonna get to work on this and I can make some of those final choices later on. So first up, I want to chop off any gnarly stuff at the ends, and this part of the piece looks pretty useless, so I'll probably chop it here and then start this interior piece from here and then end up chopping it off down here somewhere as well. So yeah, let's get measuring and sawing. So I want to do 162 for the interior part of the post, plus 10 for either of the lap joints. So it's going to be 182 that I'll need to cut this to. And I might just give myself a little bit of leeway, because why not? So we're going to chop it off at 194 and work from there. Actually, I lied. This is where I'm going to lop the post off at, but I want to find the center and we'll work from there instead. So 184 divided by 2, 92, and this becomes my main measuring point to go that away and that away. But you've already seen some cutting, you've already seen some marking, so I'm just gonna crack on, get this piece ready. I'm gonna sand it up, and then we'll finish it off in a minute. So I've been really busy and it's been great. I've got the two horizontal pieces that are going to go on the end almost ready to be chiseled out. We'll do that together because it's just fun to watch the hammer bash through those wooden pieces. And I've got the posts out as well. I've got one more post to make still, but it'll have to wait for another day because today is Sunday and I have plans later. So the day will unfortunately be cut short. I would love to just power through and keep working on this, but one must know when to take a break, and a Sunday is a good enough day to do it. So there's a lot going on over here. Let me see if I can explain myself before we do a little bashy on the end of the posts. So I've done another little diagram here, and that's because now that I've decided to have the timbers exposed on the inside of the building, I want to be able to choose the best ones, which means they can't really be interchangeable. I need to label them and inspect them. I haven't done that yet, but the drawing here is just telling me which one's gonna go where so that when I inspect them, I know what I'm looking for, and then I'll just mark them up. And I'll have a sort of map for when I assemble this thing together. And then over here, I have these horizontal pieces ready to go, almost, and I still have to do a cut like this on the top of this post, but I'm almost out of time, so the last thing I'll do for this day is whacking away at the ends, and then tomorrow I'll get them all sanded up, chiseled, and yeah, ready to go into place. This one's proved a little bit more difficult. I wonder why. Anyway, nothing the chisels can't get to. Oh, there we go. Weird. Okay, last one for the moment. So satisfying. And I can clean this up tomorrow morning with the chisels. So I just wanted to point something out with the way I'm doing things this time around. I'm not doing a pure, proper timber frame. I'm hiding a lot of the frame inside the walls, so I don't really need to. But normally you'd really take into account the thickness of each piece of the wood. And there's things that you do to make sure that the thickness remains the same across all the pieces so that everything fits together quite perfectly. In this case, I'm not doing it that way, but this cut here is a very important cut because it's going to be what you see sort of when it all goes up. And so you want this as straight and as plumb as possible so you don't have any gaps. Stuff in here, not quite as important because this part's going to be hidden in the wall, but this is very important. So normally I would have done this with a handsaw. However, I'm feeling a little bit more confident with the Mega Saw these days. And so it looks like I've been able to accomplish very plumb and pretty straight cuts. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So some kind folks on the internet have given me answers about the pitch of the roof, and they say what I kind of suspected all along. The pitch of the roof depends on the tile. So rather than guessing with something very important, I'm actually going to go into town tomorrow, head to a building supply store, and just talk to them about tiles and see if they have a tile that is going to allow me to have the lowest possible pitch I can have. So that's my plan for tomorrow. I think I'll probably also hit up the market and pick up a few more strawberry plants at least, and maybe a few other things as well, plus groceries and laundry and all that crap that just has to be done from time to time. So while I would love to continue working on the Craic Shack, tomorrow all day I have things to do, and going to find out about the tiles is definitely going to be time well spent. And I feel so much better now that I have all of the ideas out of my head and onto paper. I've got a map to work to. I've got sort of a side angle of a drawing that makes sense to me, and everything's laid out, so I'm eager to keep going. But I'll see you guys tomorrow from the markets and the building store. So as planned, I got up really early yesterday and headed into Fundal Market, which is a lovely market to wander around. There's lots of beautiful things, and at this time of the year, the star of the show is definitely the seedlings. And my mission was to pick up some strawberries and some lettuce, and I also ended up getting some blueberry plants as well. So I had a fairly successful trip into town, except for screwing up the one thing that I went in for to do with tiles. So I'll talk about that later on and what my solution is. But when I got back home, I basically just dove into the garden. I wanted to move some thyme away from my blueberry garden bed over to the strawberries where it's more of a companion plant for them. So I trimmed it up, I dug it up, and I planted it over in my future strawberry bed. I also planted some strawberries. I only got 4 plants, which now I'm thinking I should have got more. However, they do multiply and grow along the ground, and so hopefully they're happy in there and they give me some more plants and they have a nice little ground cover. And while the strawberries grow before they get too dense in there, I decided to put some lettuce in because it's salad season, the summer is coming, and I eat a lot of lettuce, and it's one of those things that's just amazing to have in the garden. So I spent a bit of time getting all the little baby lettuces into the ground, in amongst the straw, in amongst the strawberries, and hopefully the bed is happy and I'm eating from there fairly soon. I also picked up 4 blueberry plants of different varieties, and I was pleasantly surprised that they were only €6 each. I remember paying €15 back in the day a while ago, and so I ended up getting 4 instead of 2. And I'm going to put those in the ground once I have a chance to go through that garden bed, because right now it's a total disaster. But overall, I'm really pleased with how the garden is looking, how it's coming together. The sunflower wall is growing slowly, and it just looks really nice down there. But my focus at the moment isn't the garden, so I wandered back up past Larry to say hello, past the beautiful ice plants, and up to the house where I had everything set up to continue working on the Craic Shack. And with this type of work, at least for me, there's all kinds of stuff going on off camera where I'm trying to pick the best pieces of wood, trying to choose the best side, marking stuff out, puzzling things through in my head, doing online research, and just trying to make plans and figure out what I'm doing on the fly, just because that's how I work best. So my day was full with all sorts of that kind of stuff, research, marking stuff out. Doesn't make the most exciting viewing. And then of course I got back to the usual sawing and all of the actual fun stuff where I'm doing the work, which is what I really enjoy. And then I finally got to what I actually love the most, chiseling. So yesterday was a really fabulous day of work. I ended up getting both of these pieces chiseled out and ready to go. I also spent some time sanding the rafters. The sanding for the rafters is going to be more precise because they're going to be exposed, and I'm really looking forward to how that's going to look. I think it's going to be really wonderful having the rafters visible from inside the structure, and so there's a lot of sanding to do, and I figured I might as well just do some of that. So the rafters are over here inside the polytunnel, and that's because it's going to rain today, so I'm trying to put as much stuff out of the weather as I possibly can. They're not completely sanded, but they're getting there, and I only have 3. I somehow screwed up the order. But luckily for me, Sancha is heading back to the valley for a visit, which is going to be wonderful, but it's also meant that she's put a wood order in because she has some grand plans for building down there. And so, even though I made a mistake with my order, I'm able to add some stuff onto hers, and hopefully we'll have a delivery with all of our wood fairly soon. So there's lots of exciting building coming up with the Craic Shack, with Sancha's place, and also I have news about Sinead's. You'll notice that there's a second bicycle in here, and that's because I've removed this dusty, unused bicycle that I definitely need to get back on the road from Sinead's future house, because there's been exciting developments down there, and I'll share that by the end of the video. And then in here, it's business as usual with all the little seedlings growing up big and strong, and hopefully I'll get these in the garden beds in the next week or 2. But right now, I'm in a race against time because perhaps you can see over there the weather's looking pretty gloomy, even though the sun is shining. It's actually kind of a funny day today, but it's supposed to rain at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's about 10 a.m. right now, and I would really love to have these pieces attached before the end of the day. And so the thing that I screwed up yesterday when I went into town, and it's totally stupid, is that I completely forgot to go to the tile store. It was the one thing I really needed to do, and as I was driving back home, I clocked it that I didn't go, and I couldn't be bothered turning around. I was really tired, and so I just decided to head home. But I have a solution. It's a pretty dodgy solution, but a solution nonetheless. So let me mark stuff out, and then I'll explain myself. Okay, I'm back, and unfortunately it started raining. It's not coming down too hard just yet, but I'll probably want to get a move on if I want to actually get stuff done. So let me show you what I've been up to. I've basically made a whole table. Well, Microsoft Copilot has made a whole table for me with each of the pitches of the roof, the angles that corresponds, the rise. The run is consistent because that's the width of the shed, and then the rafter length I'll need without the overhang. I'm limited by the length of the rafters, but I think they're fine. They're about 2.5 meters long, so it gives me plenty of wiggle room. But I do want quite a bit of an overhang on either end, so maybe not as much wiggle room as I would like. And this is somewhere around 25 degrees roof pitch, and I think ideally you want to be around 30 for tiles. However, I've been online doing loads of research. I've been on multiple clay tile companies' websites, and there's plenty of tiles out there where you can have a lower pitch. I just need to make sure they exist here in Portugal, or possibly order them online. So I'm actually going to design my roof with a 20-degree pitch, which is a rise of somewhere between 4 and 5, and a rise of 76 centimeters across 182 run, which is probably way more detail than you need, but I'm definitely in numbers mode at the moment. I'll design it for a 20-degree roof pitch, see if I can find tiles that will work for me, and if I can't, I'll either switch it up and go to something that's like a faux tile roof, which is really more like panels that look like tiles, or I can easily lop off the top of the lower post, and then I can change the pitch of my roof if I can't find tiles that are appropriate. So it's raining now. It's kind of annoying because I'm just getting into the thick of things. I've been sitting at my computer getting the internet to crunch numbers for me, and I'm really raring to go. So I actually have to pack everything away, get my tools in, and I think this is probably a good time to have some lunch. So hopefully I'll be back very soon where I'm actually going to start making the cuts, and maybe today I can get this thing together, but I do know there's a lot of rain forecast for later. So here's where I'm at. I've got some thinking to do, and I'll see you guys again hopefully soon if this rain lets up a little bit. Ah, look at that beautiful sunny sky. After a couple of hours of drizzly weather, the rain has stopped and I'm back to work. I actually decided to brave the rain earlier and come out and do some marking. It wasn't raining super hard, and I just wanted to push on with things and get everything as ready as possible just to continue with the cuts. And Mikey even came out to keep me company, supervise. He was wet, I was wet, and I got stuff marked up, and I'm happy I persevered because now it means I can just get the saw and the hammer, oops, and the chisels out and just carry on, because I don't know how long this dry spell is going to last, and I would really love to get this cut made and that cut made so I can get the cross piece in and maybe get stuff attached. All right, so while the sun is shining, I'm going to get a move on, and that means we're doing things the fast way. Okay, the cuts are made. Looking good. And now it's time to do some chiseling, but I'm on a time crunch. Ooh, that's very satisfying. What a fabulous noise. Sorry, I think I'm just very easily impressed. Let's do the other one. It's funny the things that bring me joy. Who doesn't love a nice crunchy chisel noise? Ah, amazing. This is interesting. This is the knot, and the knots are always a little bit trickier, so that's going to take some finagling to get that one out, but yeah, these came out pretty easily. So that was wonderful, but I still have a lot of chiseling to do, and there's plenty of chiseling on this project in the future, so due to the weather, we're going to do it with the snap. Okay, that looks pretty good. You never know until you try to fit it in place. So let's get the pieces down and see if it all fits. So I doubt very much this is going to fit on the first try. Often it's very finicky to try to get it to fit in, but sometimes I get lucky, so fingers crossed this works. So this is actually looking surprisingly accurate, and I feel like I could probably bash this in, but I don't want to do it here because my intention is to assemble it all over there, and I don't think if I bash it in over here with it facing this direction, I'll be able to get the pieces apart very easily. So I think what I'll do is move the operation over there and yeah, see if I can get this together. Okay, it's all set up, and if I get this in on the first try, I'll be amazed. The ratchet strap is here to just cinch the whole thing in tightly if it all fits properly. Sometimes you get lucky, but usually it takes a few tries. So, fingers and toes are crossed. Let's see if this works. So it looks a little bit up on this side. And yeah, same on the other side as well. So I think I need to chisel out either a bit of this, or maybe it's easier to chisel out some of this piece. And since everything is all set up already, I might as well see what's happening on this side as well. This side is looking really good. Doesn't really matter what's happening up here, it's more what's happening underneath, but I can feel that it's pretty flush, so I think this side will do. I just need to saw off the edge, so I'll mark that up and get it cut. And then over on this side, I still have a bit of work to do. I need to saw off the end, and then you can see underneath that it's about, I don't know, 3 millimeters off. So this needs to sit in so that this is flush, because this is the side that's going to be seen. So I've got some work to do, and I'll check in again when it's all done. Okay, I'm back, and this has gone surprisingly well. This is looking, well, it's feeling flush, and I've kind of had a peek at it with great difficulty, but it's looking good. And over here is looking good as well. So now what I want to do is use the ratchet strap to close the gap, and then I think I can call this part of the work done. So things are looking super snug on this side. A little bit less over on this side, but I'm not sure it's completely squared. So maybe with a few more cranks of the ratchet strap, it'll all come into place, but it's looking great on the other side. And I'm just gonna assume when the whole thing's tipped up, it's gonna look really nice because it's quite hard to see under there. I will double check it before I screw everything in though. So it's only about 6 p.m. and I would be very happy to power on with this work and keep going, keep pushing on, get the diagonal braces in and get everything ready for it to go vertical. But I have some online writing to do with a deadline. So I've got a call. It quits on work. I'm trying to get out of the sun. Let's just stand within this olive tree. I'm trying to, there's no escaping the sun. So I'm gonna call it quits on work for tonight and also end the video there because it's gonna chuck it down with rain tomorrow. I have a birthday lunch to go to anyway, and so I probably won't get to work on this again for the next few days, but I'm really happy with the progress so far. You might be wondering how I'm gonna attach the ends of the posts to the stone, and to be honest with you, so am I. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find a way to attach the wood on and get it level. I just haven't had a chance to really fiddle around with it too much because the way I have it now isn't really gonna work as I would like it. So I've got an idea and I'm gonna test that out probably off camera as well, and then get everything ready to get stuff upright. So after many months, or actually many years of talk about the tool shed / Craic Shack, things are finally happening and it feels great. So before I say goodbye from this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that exciting stuff is happening down at Sinead's. Perhaps you've heard the sounds of heavy machinery emanating up from the valley. That's because she's got a digger down there. Yesterday it arrived and today she had the digger plus a team of people getting to work on her future house. So I'm gonna be sharing that progress from the very beginning, and it's gonna be wonderful to pop down there occasionally and see what they're up to. And it really is a cool design, and yeah, it's a big deal. So we've got Sinead's house on the go. Kimbo's house just been purchased. She's gonna get an architect on the case very soon. I can't talk anymore apparently, so I'm gonna say goodbye from the video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm so happy with the progress, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. If you do like the video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.